Hi everyone, it's Natasha here from Buttonnose Crochet and welcome to the Eve's Journey video tutorial. This video tutorial will be in 3 parts as we make the front square, the granny square on the back, and then we'll make the border. So there'll be 3 videos for this pattern. The video will be in US terms. So if you follow UK terms, just follow along with the pattern, but know that you're still doing the right stitches even though I'm using US terms. Now for this pattern, you can use pretty much any weight yarn as long as your finished size is slightly around about the same size as your cushion insert. So but of course you don't have to make a cushion with this pattern. You can make individual squares, so you can make, say, a 3x3 blanket, so you'll need about 5 of the front square and 4 of the granny square, and you can just join them together. Yeah, so you can make a blanket out of this pattern if you wish, but for this video tutorial it will be for a pillow cover. So that way you can put it on your bed or on your couch. Also too, I just want you to take the time to read the story behind this design. Unfortunately, it's been 6 years since my grandma has passed, and I designed this pattern 4 years ago in memory of her. She taught me how to crochet, so this design is a celebration of her life. So yeah. Anyway, let's get started, and we'll start with the front square in this tutorial, and then in the next tutorial we'll do the granny square, and the third tutorial we'll do the border. So yeah, select as many colors as you like. It's a good stash busting project, so you can use as many colors as you like. You don't have to follow the colors that are listed in the pattern. So yeah, anyway, let's get started, and we'll start on round 1 of the front square. Okay, for round 1, the yarn I'm using is Stylecraft Special Dk in the colors of cream, Duckegg, blush, Buttermilk, Grape, and Pistachio. Now these colours you've probably seen me use before. My Lily's Dream blanket, I've used it, and I absolutely love these colours together, so I thought I'd make one with the same colours, and we can, and yeah, anyway, let's get started. Okay, to start this pattern, make a magic ring. So how I do my magic rings is I have the short tail over my hand, wrap it around, cross it over, just use my third finger to hold it down, hook underneath the first loop, pull the second loop through, and then the second loop there, we just chain 1 to secure. Okay, so for round 1, we've made our magic ring and chain 1, which does not count. And then we half double crochet, chain 1, and we do that 8 times into the ring. So in total you'll have 8 half double crochet and 8 chain 1s. Okay, so I've got 8 half double crochet and 8 chain 1. Just pull the yarn tail tight and slip stitch to the first half double crochet. Now when we work our next round, the center of the magic ring may open up a bit, but that's all right. We can just pull it shut again, and then we can sew in our end. So we just fasten off, and that is round 1 complete. Let's go on to round 2. Okay, for round 2, it says to make a starting popcorn in chain 1 space. So to make a starting popcorn, I like to do a standing double crochet to start the popcorn, and then make a further 4 double crochet into the same space, just drop the loop on the last stitch, put your hook through the first stitch, around the back, put the loop back onto your hook and pull through, and chain 1 to secure. Then we want to chain 3. We make a, and then we want to repeat, skip the half double crochet, popcorn into the next chain 1 space, pull up the loop and finish our popcorn, chain 1 to secure and chain 3, and we repeat that around to the last chain space. And so pause the video and I'll meet you at the last chain space. Okay, so I'm back at the start of the round and I've got 8 popcorns and 8 chain 3 spaces. So to finish off this round, just go into the eye of the popcorn and slip stitch and fasten off. Now as you can see, the magic ring has opened up a little. So what I like to do at this stage is just pull it again, and then we can sew in those ends. So let's go on to round 3. Okay, to start round 3, the pattern says to make a starting cluster 4 in any chain 3 space. So to make a starting cluster 4, it's just basically double crochet 4 together. So you make 4 incomplete double crochets, so you got 4, pull through. Then we want to chain 5, skip the popcorn and do a cluster 4 in the next chain space. And then chain 5. So pause the video and repeat that around to the last chain space, and I'll meet you at the start of the round. Okay, so I've done my repeat of cluster 4 chain 5. So back at the start of the round, so just slip stitch to that first cluster 4 and fasten off. And that is round 3 complete. Let's go on to round 4. Okay, to start round 4, we need to make a standing front post half double crochet around the cluster, and then make 6 half double crochet in the chain 5 space, and then front post half double crochet around the cluster. So that's our repeat. 6 half double crochet in the chain 5 space, and then a front post half double crochet around the cluster. So repeat that around, but you'll finish with 6 half double crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 4 and I've finished with 6 half double crochet in the chain 5 space. So just slip stitch to the first front post half double crochet, and that is round 4 complete. Let's go on to round 5. To start round 5, since we're not changing colours, we need to chain 3 and treble into the same stitch. Now that counts as our first treble 2 together, or treble cluster, sorry. And then we want to chain 1 and treble cluster into the same stitch 3 times. So you'll have 4 treble clusters in this one stitch, along with 3 chain 1s between each. Next, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, double crochet into the next 7 stitches. This is the start of our repeat for the side, because we're starting to square it off. Okay, so we've done our 7 double crochet, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, and then into the front post half double crochet we want to make a treble cluster, and then we want to chain 1, treble cluster 3 times into the same stitch. So that's our corner. So what we need to do is repeat chain 1, skip 3 stitches, double crochet in the next 7 stitches, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, treble cluster into the next stitch, and then chain 1, treble cluster 3 times into the same stitch. And we repeat that around, but we finish with the 7 double crochet, chain 1 and skip 3 stitches. So we'll be joining back up to the first treble cluster that we made. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of the round and I have finished with 7 double crochet and a chain 1. So what we need to do is just slip stitch to the first treble cluster, and that is round 5 complete. Now to start round 6 we need to slip stitch to the chain space between the second and third treble cluster. So let's start round 6. To start round 6 we chain 2. That counts as a double crochet. Now if you like to do a chain 3 for your starting double crochets, by all means do that. Next, double crochet chain 2, 2 double crochet into the same space, and then this is our repeat for the round. Front post double crochet around the treble cluster, double crochet in the chain space, and we do that twice. We skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next 6 stitches. And then we double crochet in the chain space, front post double crochet around the treble cluster, and we do that twice. And then in the next chain space we make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Now we repeat this around to the start of the round, omitting the last corner group. So I'll go through that again. The repeat is front post double crochet around the treble cluster, double crochet in the chain space, and we do that twice. Skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then we double crochet in the chain space, front post double crochet around the treble cluster, we do that twice, and then in the next chain space we do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So pause the video and repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where we'll finish with a front post double crochet. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 6 and I've finished with a front post double crochet. So to finish off, just slip stitch to the second starting chain. Now if you've done a chain 3, slip stitch to the third, and then fasten off. And that is round 6 complete. Let's go on to round 7. Okay, to start round 7, going to make a standing single crochet in the chain 2 space, and then make 3 single crochet into the same space. Next, make sure if I've got the right amount, so we'll have 4 single crochet in the corner. Next, skip 1 stitch and single crochet into the next 17 stitches. Now with this round, you're more than welcome to work into the back loop of the double crochets if you want to. So work the 17 single crochet. So pause the video and I'll meet you once I've done the 17. Okay, so I've worked the 17 single crochet. So next we want to make 4 single crochet into the chain 2 space, and that's our repeat. So we skip 1 stitch, single crochet into the next 17 stitches, and then we make 4 single crochet in the corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where we finish with 17 single crochet. Okay, so I'm back at the start of the round and I've finished with 17 single crochet. So just slip stitch to the first single crochet. Now if you're changing colours, fasten off. Let's go on to round 8. To start round 8, if you haven't changed colours, you'll need to slip stitch to the second single crochet in the corner and chain 2. Otherwise, make a standing double crochet in the second single crochet in the corner, double crochet in the same stitch. Now, for this round, 2 double crochet in the same stitch is counted as a V. It's a modified V. Chain 2, and then we want to make a V, which is 2 double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so next we need to skip 1 stitch and V into the next. So that's 2 double crochet. And then we skip another stitch and V in the next. And we repeat that until we repeat that 9 times. So we've done our V there. So we repeat this, skip 1 stitch, V in the next 9 times. So you'll finish in the second single crochet in the corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the next corner. Sorry, I repeated that 9 times and it finishes me on the last stitch before the corner. We skip 1 stitch, V into the next stitch, chain 2, V into the next stitch. So we repeat that around. So we skip 1 stitch, V into the next, and we repeat that 9 times, skip 1 stitch, V into the next stitch, chain 2, V into the next stitch. So we repeat that around, finishing with a skip 1 V 9 times. So we'll be finishing here on the second last stitch. Now with this round, the reason why it's a modified V is because in the next 2 rounds we'll be working between the 2 double crochet that is worked in the same stitch. So instead of having a chain 1, we still work between those 2 double crochets. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 8 and we simply slip stitch to the first double crochet or the top of the chain 2 and fasten off. And that is round 8 complete. Let's go on to round 9. Okay, for round 9 and 10 we'll be working into round 8. To start round 9, it starts in the corner V, so just before the chain 2 space. And what we want to do is make a standing popcorn. So use the standing double crochet to start it. So we're working between the 2 double crochet of that modified V. Chain 1 to secure, and then we want to chain 6, and then we want to skip the chain 2 space and work a popcorn into the next V. Chain 1 to secure, Next we want to chain 3, skip the next V, popcorn into the next V. Now we want to repeat that. Popcorn into the next V, chain 3, skip the next V. And we want to do that 5 times. So we'll be finishing in the third last V before the corner. And then because we'll be finishing with a chain 3. And then we popcorn into that, we skip the next V, popcorn into the next V, chain 6, popcorn into the next V. So pause the video and I'll meet you to do the corner. Okay, so I've done my repeat of popcorn, chain 3, skip the next V. Next, popcorn into the V before the chain 2 space. And then we want to chain 6. And that's our repeat for the round. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round, which will be a popcorn in the third last V and a chain 3. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 9, and as you can see, it may not sit flat, but that's all right because that will be fixed in a couple of rounds time when we square it off again. So to finish this round, just slip stitch to the first popcorn and fasten off. Now a good tip for this is to sew in your ends now, because that way they don't get mixed up with our next part of the round, which will with round 10, where we'll be working into the skipped V's. So let's go on to round 10, but first let's sew in our ends. Okay, for round 10, this round is worked in the chain 2 corners and the skipped V's. Now to start this round, we're going to make a standing puff in the chain 2 corner. So for this whole round, we've got to hold our chain spaces back so that we don't work over them. So the puff that's used is you bring up 4 loops, pull through 7, yarn over, pull through 2. Next, chain 3, puff in the same space. Chain 3, skip the popcorn, puff into the next V. So as you can see, I'm holding my chain down. Chain 3. Now we repeat that to the last V before the corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the last V before the corner. Okay, so I've done my puff chain 3 repeat and I'm at the corner. So in the chain 2 corner, we make a puff, chain 3, puff. And chain 3. And that is our repeat for the round. So we puff, chain 3, and we repeat that 5 times. And then we do a puff, chain 3, puff in the chain 2 corner, and then a chain 3. So repeat that around, but we'll finish on a puff, chain 3 repeat. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 10. I've finished with a puff, chain 3. So to finish off, we just slip stitch to the first puff and fasten off. Now, at this stage, we need to push our popcorns through the gaps. It will curl a little bit in the corners, but that will be fixed with our next round. So let's go on to round 11. So for this round, we're working over both round 9 and 10 in the corners, so both chain spaces. But then on the sides, we're only working into the chain space of round 9 either side of the popcorn. So let's get started. Okay, so we make a standing double crochet over the chain space of both rounds 9 and 10. Chain 2, two double crochet. Sorry, make a standing double crochet and then double crochet, chain 2, two double crochet, all in the same space. So we've worked out over both chain spaces. Next, working over round 9 chain space only, we skip the puff and then we put our hook under, push round 10 to the back and work 2 double crochet. Skip the popcorn, working into round 9 chain space, 2 double crochet in the chain space. So if you look at the back, the round 10 chain space sits behind all the double crochets and in behind the popcorn as well. So we repeat that to the last popcorn. So work the last 2 double crochet on the left side of the popcorn. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the corner. Okay, so I've done all my 2 double crochet either side of the popcorn into the round 9 chain spaces. And as you can see, this is what it should look like on the back for you. Okay, so next, over both chain spaces of round 9 and 10, make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So I'll just run through that repeat again. So we skip the puff and working over round 9 chain space, 2 double crochet before the popcorn, 2 double crochet after the popcorn, and we repeat that to the corner. And then in the corner we'll make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet over both chain spaces. So repeat that around and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of the round and You'll notice that it may not sit flat, but that's all right, because we've got our chain underneath the row. So to finish this round off, we just slip stitch to the first double crochet, and then we just slip stitch to the chain 2 corner, and that is round 11 complete. Let's go on to round 12. Okay, for round 12, to start round 12, we chain 2 and double crochet in the same space. Now that's going to be classed as our first V. Chain 2, V in the same space. So this is our modified V. Next, this is our repeat for the side. Skip 2 stitches, 2 double crochet between the next 2 stitches. So see how I've worked between the stitches, so it's directly above the puff stitch. Skip 2 stitches, V between the next 2 stitches. So we repeat that to the corner, and pause the video and I'll meet you at the corner. Okay, so I've worked my V's all the way to the corner, and as you can see, each V is directly above the puff and popcorns, so in that space between the 2 double crochets. Okay, next we skip 2 stitches, we make a V, chain 2, V in the chain 2 corner. Okay, so we just repeat that around, and pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 12, and what we need to do is slip stitch to the starting chain 2, and then we'll just slip stitch to the chain 2 corner. So let's go on to round 13. Okay, to start round 13, just chain 2 and double crochet in the same space. That counts as our first V. Chain 2, V in the same space. Next, skip 1 stitch, V into the next V, and then we repeat, skip 2 stitches, V into the next V, and we repeat that to the last V before the chain 2 corner. So pause the video and I'll meet you at the last V before the corner. Okay, so I'm at the corner and I've worked a V in each V. So in the chain 2 corner, we just work a V, chain 2, V. Okay, so I'll go through that again. The repeat for the round, for the side, is skip 1 stitch, V into the next V, and then we repeat, skip 2 stitches, V into the next V to the last V before the corner, then we skip 1 stitch, then we do a V, chain 2, V in the corner. So repeat that around and pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 13 and I've done all my V's. So to finish off this round, just slip stitch to the top of the chain 2 and fasten off. And that is round 13 complete. Let's go on to round 14. To start round 14, make a standing double crochet in the chain 2 corner, and then 5 double crochet into the same space. So I have 6 double crochet in the corner. Next, chain 1, skip the next V, shell in the next V. So a shell is 4 double crochet, chain 1, skip the next V, shell in the next V, and we just repeat that to the corner. And when we get to the corner, we skip the last V and make 6 double crochet in the corner. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the start of the round where we'll finish in the second last V. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 14, and to finish off, just slip stitch to the first double crochet and fasten off. Let's go on to round 15. Okay, to start round 15, between the 3rd and 4th double crochet in the corner, make a standing single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the same space. Next, chain 1. Now we'll be working back into row 14 where we skip the V. So working over that chain 1 space, 2 double crochet into the V, picking up my ends there, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, single crochet between the 2nd and 3rd double crochet of the shell, chain 1, skip 2 stitches. So our repeat for the side is chain 1, skip 3 stitches, 2 double crochet into the skipped V in row 13, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, single crochet between the 2nd and 3rd double crochet of the shell, chain 1, skip 2 stitches. So you repeat that to the last shell. When we get to the last shell, we do 2 double crochet in the skipped V, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, and then between the 3rd and the 4th double crochet we make a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 15, and to finish off I'm just going to chain 1, skip the 3 stitches and slip stitch to the first single crochet. Let's go on to round 16. To start round 16, slip stitch to the chain 2 space, chain 1, does not count as a stitch, and then half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet into the same space, and then we want to half double crochet into each stitch and chain space to the next corner. And when we get to the corner, we make a half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet in the corner. So repeat that around and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 16 and I've done all my half double crochets. Now you might find that it's a little bit wobbly, but that will be fine because our next 3 rounds will help us straighten that out a bit. So to finish off this round, we just slip stitch to the first half double crochet and fasten off. And that is round 16 complete. Let's go on to round 17. Okay, to start round 17, we're going to make a standing double crochet in the chain 2 corner, and then chain 2, double crochet in the same space, and then we'll be working into the 3rd loop of the half double crochet. So it's this loop in behind the top 2 loops. So double crochet into the 3rd loop of each stitch to the corner, and then when we get to the corner, we'll make a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So your round should have this effect here. So pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of the round and I've done my double crochet in the 3rd loop and my double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in each corner. The last stitch you might find a little bit difficult to find, so you're just going to have to find that 3rd loop in the back. To finish off, we just slip stitch to the first double crochet, and that is round 17 complete. Let's go on to round 18. Okay, to start round 18, we need to slip stitch to the chain 2 space. We want to chain 2, which counts as a double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the same space. Next, we want to skip the next stitch and double crochet into each stitch to the next corner. And then when we get to the next corner, we make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner, and we repeat that around, omitting the last corner group. And so pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm back at the start of round 18, and to finish this round we just slip stitch to the top of the chain 2, and that is round 18 complete. Let's go on to round 19. Okay, to start round 19 we need to slip stitch to the chain 2 space, chain 2, it counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into the same space. And then we just want to double crochet into each stitch to the next corner. And when we get to the next corner, we make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner, and we repeat that right around to the start of the round, just omitting the last corner group. And so pause the video and I'll meet you back at the start of the round. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 19. So to finish off, just slip stitch to the second starting chain and fasten off. And that is our front square for the pillow cover complete. Your square should be, if you've used 8-ply, your square should roughly be around about 13 inches wide to fit into a 14-inch, to fit onto a 14-inch pillow or a 36-centimeter pillow. So in our next video, we will be doing the granny square for the back of the pillow cover. Now, yeah, so basically with the granny square, I've written it in such a way that of how I've been taught. But of course, with the granny square, you can make it any way that you like, however you've been taught how to make a granny square. Anyway, so thank you for watching, and join me in the next video where we make the granny square for the back of the pillow cover. Okay, thank you. Bye.